Alright, today we're going to be showing you guys how I design my farm in Stardew Valley. A couple of guys said you really like the design of my farm, so I'm just going to give you some tips on how I do design and how I sort of make my farm look good, I think. I mean, I think my farm looks good. You could think it looks like crap, but that's your opinion, and it's valid. It is valid. So, to start off, the two main tips. There's two types of designing in Stardew Valley. Symmetry and random. Now, these are very specific and very different from each other, but they each serve a unique purpose and can make your farm look really good by utilizing these two designs in the right way. So, symmetry is what I mainly use on my farm, and we can take a look at it in this shed. As you can see, everything is the same on one side as the other. There's two frog statues here, there's two tanks, there's two palm trees, there's two tanks here, two tanks here. They're all the same. This, I think, is very pleasing to the eye, and I think you'll find the most luck designing like this throughout Stardew Valley if you want a well-rounded, nice-looking farm to the eye. However, there is other ways to design in Stardew Valley, and that would be the random method. Now, the random method we can see on my farm down here, as I basically have just thrown a bunch of different things in one space that have no rhyme or reason and have no sort of symmetry or opposite. They're just literally there to look good. As you can see here, I have 3 hay bales and 1 scarecrow. Here I have 5 hay bales and 1 scarecrow. Here I have a tiki torch, I have flower pots up there. There's no rhyme or reason to why I'm designing like this, but it still looks good. And honestly, most people, most YouTubers you will see make Stardew Valley videos usually go for this random sort of design. It does look really good in Stardew Valley, but me personally, I just like the symmetry look. Everything looks even. It's pleasing to the eye, especially to me. As you can see here, I did it with my golden clock area. You have the knights, the poles all placed the same, the chairs, they're basically all the same. Each side is basically identical to the other. Whatever style suits you better, go for it. There isn't one style that you have to use. You can mix both of them into your farm like I did, or you can use one and not the other. It's solely up to you, and one good example of mixing them in a space would be in a shed. If we come over to my mine shed, you can see that for this furnace area, we have the symmetry. They're both labeled the same side and they look the exact same. However, don't ignore these. I just haven't filled them in yet. But if you come up here, this is totally different. Yes, they have the gems, but the gems are totally different from one side to the other. They look nothing alike. They're just a showcase of gems, which I personally think looked really good in this room just to break up the room. So utilize your designing like that and you will have a lot of success designing in Stardew Valley. Now, there are some key things that you can do in order to make some designs that I think are really appealing. One way is with paths. Path blocks in this game make everything better. And I would encourage you to not just stick with one path. Like as you see here, I have one stone path mixed with the other. These are two separate stone paths, but they work really well with each other just because how they look. I would also advise you to always put a material or a path underneath your fences. I think this just makes your farm pop, it makes your fences pop, it makes it look really good. As you can see, I'm going to do it here too. And what looks better, that one or this one? That one. These fences look like they have some support and they just look good. Now, going back to the paths, it is important to also mix up the paths. As you can see here, I transitioned from stone to wood, a different type of wood, so that it all looks different. It's not all the same. That is really important in Stardew Valley, as paths can break up areas and they can make your farm look very organized and very good. Now, another thing that can be really good in Stardew Valley can be to sort of change up your designs as your farm evolves. Like for example, this area over here used to be my ancient food keg farm, but I since don't need it anymore because I already have the golden clock. I don't need that much kegs. I relocated them to another area and I changed it to like my sort of rabbit area. It's not done, but As you can see, changing up your farm as to what you need is a really important thing to do when designing, because you want your farm to stay fresh, you want it to stay unique, and if you're constantly changing it, you'll always have things to do, and you won't get as bored in the game as Stardew Valley. Another thing could be to group up sort of similar things in Stardew Valley. So one of these things can be animals. So for example, here I have all my barns with all my animals in them, and I also have outside of them the hay bales, because animals eat hay bales, scarecrows, just things that sort of associate with animals, and it looks really good, I think. So make sure you're trying to group things together that look like they belong together. For example, the golden clock. What to be better guarding a golden clock than knights? Knights guard gold. So do things like that, make your builds group together, unique, and sort of design an area by area throughout your farm. You'll have the best time designing if you're doing it by area and not trying to make everything sort of fit together. Sort of design your areas and then try to make it flow together the best of your abilities. Now, the most important thing in Stardew Valley when designing, and this is going to be my last tip, is to make sure you have lots of life in your farm. That being trees, that being lights, benches, grass. Grass is a big one. In Stardew Valley, it is really important to add life to your builds, because it just makes it pop. And I found this the hard way. I used to never do this and my farms looked really bad, but if you add those trees, if you add those plants, those even fruit trees are a great addition, flowers, things like that. They really make your farm pop and can take your design and your farm aesthetic to a whole new level. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of the insight on how I decorate my farm and how I think you should try to decorate your farm in order to make it look better, just to give you guys some tips and help. And if you made it to this video, end of the video, subscribe, enter the giveaway. 250 subscribers, we are giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. I appreciate all you guys' time. Project Mick out. Peace.